The footage you are looking at is of Battleborn, played on the Xbox One, using my Avermedia Live Gamer Portable 2 GC510. It can record footage up to 1080p and 60 frames per second, true 1080p 60 frames per second, and has the ability to record without the use of a PC with its PC free recording feature and with the help of a micro SD. Click the Amazon link in the description below to find out more. I honestly was going to do this video mainly as a tech review for my Avermedia Live Gamer Portable 2, but as of a lot of people talking about this and a lot of other gamers and a lot of other YouTubers talking about this, I feel as though I should throw my hat in the ring. So, without further ado, hey senpais, it's me, WG Deadman, and welcome back to another Chatting with the Deadman. Today, this is kind of a rant, sort of a little informative video about my console of choice and a lot of other people's console of choice. This is of the Xbox One, and how a lot of people are already going to be claiming that it's already dying. It's a dying console, it's a dying breed, and if you're an Xbox gamer like me, you should just give it up right now. But wait a minute, Deadman. I thought the Xbox One was a pretty big success. It sort of was. Weirdly enough, fared contender of mine who would rather share wits than do anything else, but what do you have thoughts about it? I honestly thought it was a great console at launch. Ooh, that's gonna have to dock some points from you. Actually, the Xbox One's console release at launch, my bad, excuse me, was a bit rocky, like, well, most consoles at launch. Even the PlayStation 4 had a weird launch set, along with the Nintendo Wii U. Even though the Wii U didn't even do as much as its ancestor, the Wii actually did. In fact, I think the Wii, in my reports, in my memory, actually still sold more. In fact, people still have the original Wii. People do have the Wii U, and they're using it to play games like Breath of the Wild and all the other stuff. But with other games like ARMS and everything else, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you're gonna have to upgrade. Sorry, Wii, but with all of your garbageware and your software games that you have on there, there's not much we can do about it. But continuing on, Xbox One's console sales are starting to slightly dip. Well, not really, but looking at the recent sales of them, actually selling about 55 million units sold in the last few months. I'll need to check my records on that. They have actually been keeping afloat. But the number one thing that people are upset about with the Xbox One console, and with Microsoft in general, is, yep, you guessed it, not enough exclusives. And yeah, sure, Gears of War 4 is great, and, you know, Halo Wars 2 is okay. I honestly don't understand why we needed another real-time strategy game in the year of fucking 2017! I will share my thoughts on that in another time, on why I hate real-time strategy games and how I just can't, you know, wrap my head around. Okay, some real-time strategy games are fun, like Age of Empires and all that other stuff. You know, all those games are fun. But, and wait, can The Sims be used as a real-time strategy? Oh well, I'll talk about that in another video. But another thing I hate about it is that, again, there isn't really enough exclusives for the Xbox consoles. Way back when, though, that was sort of the big, huge deal about the Xbox and with Microsoft. They wanted exclusives. Halo was a big, huge franchise until it led up to, I want to say, maybe off to Halo 4. Halo 5 was supposed to be a big hit, and I played the demo of it, and I played the beta of it, and it was alright. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad either. And it was actually a fair, you know, deal of a game at the time. And I even still have a snapback somewhere of Halo 5 Guardians. And you're probably wondering, what team was I on? I was on Loki. I was on Loki or Locke. I can't remember what his name was, but I was on his team about that. Because, I don't know, I just felt as though, oh, we got a new Spartan on the team. Sort of a Spartan. And Master Chief kind of went, you know, AWOL for some weird reason. We don't find out why until, like, halfway through the game. But it's a weird mystery on why Xbox isn't going back to that original flair. Halo 5 is fun, and not Halo Wars 2, fuck that. And Gears of War 4 looks great. They're still going on strong with that. But whatever happened to exclusives like Scalebound? I never heard of it until just a few weeks back. And Project Spark was actually another console exclusive until that got shut down. Project Spark was supposed to be like a huge game engine where you can play other games in it, and it was supposed to be free. If you have that game, if you still have that, then you know what? Congrats. You actually still have a rare, piece of work on the Xbox right then and there that you could still play. And I believe people are still developing stuff for that. I would highly doubt it, but, we can't rule that factor out. But they scrapped that ever since with some scandal involving some Game of Thrones stuff, because apparently Telltale got onto that or something, because they were going to make their own game about it, and I guess they just had to shut it down, or nobody was backing it up. I don't know. I'll have to look up my sources on that and look up more information about it to see what really did happen. But I don't truly understand what's going on with Xbox. I thought they were this big, huge company that, loved its players and loved getting behind the fact that they were still in the gaming business with just what they were doing. But you now look at gaming consoles and companies like Nintendo with their Nintendo Switch. They were just primarily exclusives, sort of. They did have some games from Ubisoft, and they did have some third-party help here and there, but, they kind of did, breach the bar on with the Wii and how it was making it more accessible to third parties. And it was really great, because back then, let's go back to the Nintendo GameCube for a bit. The Nintendo GameCube, which I still happen to have, own, and play, and that was a huge console success, and the reason why it actually had a pretty big lifespan was because of just how many exclusives and how many fun games are built for it. Albeit the weird small disc size was a problem, because not a lot of third-party developers could get behind that because of the small disc size, and they had to reformat everything. They basically had to retouch up on a lot of stuff, and it just got all those third-party developers just making them go, nope, we're keeping the hell away from that thing. I'm certain another reason why was the weird handle on the back, but trust me, that handle is actually rather handy. Get it? Handy? Handle? Get it? Whatever. But going back to that, it got a lot of retrospect for it because it had a bunch of console exclusives. The Wii had a bunch of console exclusives and some third-party games, but nearing the end of its death and nearing the end of its discontinuation, I think it's still being made. Actually, no, wait, no, it is not, the last time I checked. Or if it is, someone please down below in the comments correct me on that, please. I'll need to do some research before all this. I wish I could use annotations. Sadly, YouTube got rid of them. But either way, the Xbox One doesn't have that stuff anymore. They do, kind of, but it's still not, it's just not keeping the attention of other players. The Nintendo Switch, on the other hand, that's starting to get a lot of console exclusives, and we're going to be getting some third-party stuff in there, like Mario and Rabbids, which is like Kingdom Clash or something. I don't remember the exact title of it, but it's supposed to be like an XCOM clone for kids, I guess, featuring Rayman's Rabbids and from Ubisoft and Super Mario characters, and they use like Mega Man arm cannons for like weapons and stuff. I don't know, it's weird, but you never know, it could sell. ARMS is another fighting game that's gotten a lot of attention, and it looks rather interesting, but to be honest, I think I'll stick with Tekken and Street Fighter and Killer Instinct. Thank you very much. And then we go on to the PlayStation 4, another of Xbox's competitors, that they are just chock full of exclusives as well as a healthy amount of third-party games. You got games for the PlayStation 4 coming out like Yakuza Kiwami, I think that's what it's called. Yakuza, I believe. I can't remember exactly. A recent release on there for the PlayStation 3, which a lot of you are just starting to dig up now, was Yakuza 0, which that got a lot of attention, which reminds me very much so of Sleeping Dogs, except you're part of the Yakuza and not part of the Triad. And it just looks really, really interesting to see that, along with other third-party titles like Persona and all those other consoles and all those other games. And, of course, Street Fighter V, which being a PlayStation 4 console, I really wish they didn't, because as of back then, Street Fighter was actually a double console party for it being on both Nintendo consoles and Sega consoles. But that was back then during the 16-bit and the 32-bit, not the 32-bit, the 16-bit and the sort of 64-bit generation. But Street Fighter finally went on with Capcom to go and be played on the PlayStation 1 to go on and work with Sony. And then they finally later on to go play with the Xbox consoles, with Street Fighter 4 finally hitting shelves on the Xbox 360. And as of having that game, I can't believe it was just a huge flop for me. It was fun when I was a kid. I was good at it. Going back to it, I'm glad I took that to trade it in for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 just last night. But again, you got all these great console exclusives, and you got all of these other third-party games, and you even have... Okay, let's go way back when Xbox 360 was discussing with other developers for like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and Microsoft would go to those parties and those developers to have them put exclusive content on their consoles for DLC map packs and all their stuff. They even did that with Skyrim. Microsoft went over to Bethesda during the 360 age, and they even talked to them that their DLC, Skyrim's DLC, will be going straight to Xbox 360s first, before the PlayStation 3 ever got it. And that's what I loved about it, because Microsoft actually went out there to go above and beyond with all their great consoles games, and it was just great that they even got, you know, DLC exclusives for it. And that was great back then. But then you go nowadays, and this is actually some pretty shocking news. Crackdown 3 just, or is it Crackdown 4? I'm sorry, I'm kerfuffling on my information here. But Crackdown 3, that game that was just hit with being released on the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, that just got delayed until 2018. I don't understand why. Could just be issues. It's weird, but I don't understand. Even though they are saying that Crackdown 3's delay will not impact Xbox One X launch sales. And you never know. It could. Believe me, weird stuff has happened before in the past. Game developers and game console creators. Weird stuff has happened in the past. We've all seen it. We've all experienced. It could come back to bite us in the butt again. And we just got to be prepared for it. But oddly enough, PlayStation 4 and the Switch are actually going to be, or somewhat competing on weirder ends. Like how the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is supposed to be a competing console with the Xbox One X, it doesn't want to seem to compete with the Xbox One X. In fact, both of them still seem to have the same spec and sort of same hardware capabilities. Like be able to record in true 4K Ultra HD. Actually, with that on the Xbox One X, that's starting to become a slight speculation of it being not true. You go over to the PlayStation 4, and it's actually going to be for full 4K resolution HD on the PlayStation 4 Pro. But yet they're wanting to go at the throats with Nintendo Switch and say that, oh, we got 4K. Well, guess what? You won't be able to play great games like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Mario Kart, and other great games, and other third-party games on the go. That's what they're trying to do there. Nintendo's thinking, oh, on-the-go games are going to be great. But in reality, really, do we need that? Even though with the recent launch and the recent, I want to say kind of success, I have not looked at sales for the Nintendo 2DS XL yet, even though that is incredibly stupid. It's the same thing as a 2DS XL, but finally with the whole device as a whole to finally fold and put in your pocket. You can finally play 3DS games and 3D games in full 2D. Hooray! It took you this long, Nintendo. It took you this long. You're on pretty thin ice right now as it is, Nintendo. One more fuck up. If the Switch, honestly, I'm going to say this now before I forget it. I'm going to be putting it in this video. Nintendo, you are on incredibly thin ice. If the Switch fails, if the Nintendo 2DS XL fails, you are done. You are going to be in a world of hurt if both of those do not work. You're going to be in the same boat with Sega and making either console games, either games for consoles, maybe going back to original IPs. I've recently heard that Sega might be going back to original IPs and making them remastered and everything. like Shinobi and all those other great games. And they even they even might even go back to Altered Beast. I love that game. I want it, and I want to play it, and I want to record it and review it. I may have it. I may be able to get to it if I have the time. Maybe. Who knows? We'll have to see. But that's for another bit. Right now we're discussing this. Again, say, you know, Nintendo, you might end up like Sega. You're going to be a third-party software developer. You're going to be a third-party game developer from now on. You're going to be making apps. You're going to be making all these other games for other companies. You're going to be making apps for iOS and Android. Nintendo, I highly advise you, you better buckle down, put your helmets on, and be ready for whatever it may come. And it's weird on how this console war is just, it's draining not only me, but a lot of other gamers out there. For the PC players, you guys are holding up strong, I'll give it that, even though I know a lot of people have been making, you know, comparisons about, oh, the PC Master Race against the peasant consoles. You sure about that? Because consoles are actually kind of waging on with how PC gamers are, and, you know, it's not going to really affect it on how your sales go. We'll just have to see. But honestly, the big question of this video is the Xbox One Xbox done? Could we see new console exclusives coming out soon for the Xbox One? We'll have to see. Could the PlayStation 4 Pro not be in true 4K Ultra HD? We'll have to see. Will the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo 2DS XL just drop like the dead habits they may soon to be? Again, my senpais, we will have to see. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in to this pretty long and ranting and somewhat informative of a Chatting with the Dead Man. And I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. If you did, hit that like button square on the nuzzle. If you have any thoughts to share with my rant, with this video, or just anything in general, if you have any ideas for future Let's Play, a future talk about, a future rant, future chatting, or if you just want to say hi, go ahead and let me know right down below in the comments. And if you want to become a senpai today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for tuning in to another Chatting with the Dead Man. This is WG Deadman, and I will see you all on the flip side. Later!